Hello Gemini, Gemini Rising and Gemini Moon people, this is your monthly astrological horoscope for January 2016. And a quick reminder for you guys, remember January I am getting the classes back on for people who want to do the online classes, tarot classes, astrology webinars, all of that is available for January for enrollment. All 3 tarot classes are up, and the astrology webinar on love, karmic relationships, synastry, and compatibility are also available. If you'd like to register, you can do so at my website, integrativemysticism.com, same place you'd go for a session with me. So what is going on with the astrology of the month of January? Well, we have a big theme of leftovers going on this month, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that, just like at the end of December, Saturn and Uranus are in a harmonious, gorgeous trine to one another between Sagittarius and Aries, and this is between your 7th house of partnerships and your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And this could be wonderful on the business front, this could be wonderful on the love front, because we're talking about bringing order to chaos. Any kind of issues where we may have been dealing with some conflicts of interest on the friendship front as it relates to our love life, or maybe we've been blurring the lines a little bit and mixing business and friendships, and sometimes that can be a bit of a challenge too. We are mixing and mingling those in a more harmonious way. This is also a time of reconciliation and reconsideration for a lot of you, and this could be reconciliation in love, reconciliation in friendships, reconciliation in business affiliations, business partnerships. And if you are looking for those kinds of reconsiderations and reconciliations, this is the energy you want to have. Even if we're not committed to signing another contract with that particular business partner, or we're thinking that maybe that thing is done for good, this is okay as well, because again, we have this becoming a much more peaceful split, and again, bringing order to chaos. We're not having the emotional highs and the dramatic jabs and all of that anymore. You know, Saturn's like, no, 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 no. If we have to go, we have to go. But if we're going to do it, we're going to do it fair and right and equitable. So that is actually a really good way to start off this year, to be perfectly honest. Again, order to chaos. However, we are also starting off this year with Mercury, currently retrograde, in Capricorn, in your 8th house of passive income, joint finances, as well as your personal, supplemental income. But the interesting thing about Mercury retrograde in the 8th house is that it's one of the safe places to have Mercury retrograde, believe it or not. It's one of the places that has the lowest impact, and for you, we've been going through a big boomerang opportunity, and I think I talked about this as well in the December horoscope, where a lot of money that has been kind of out circulating in the ethers, a lot of entitlements, a lot of things that are meant to be yours are going to be coming back to you, in particular in the first week of the month. We do, however, have Mercury retrograding so far. It goes back into Sagittarius for a time as well, around the 8th. And for a brief few days, there will be a discussion or an opportunity to get something back that we may have left with a partner. Remember, the 7th house is all about your closest one-on-one relationships, so it might not be a romantic partner. It might be one of your old best friends, it might be a business partner, an old roommate, but we are getting something back that we didn't know we left behind. After the 12th, we've got Mercury full steam ahead going direct. Mercury goes direct on the 9th of the month, but, it's not necessarily going to get its bearings until after the 12th, when it's back in Capricorn. And we have it moving further in the venture capital area for those of you that are looking to start a new business of your own, or those of you who are maybe looking to take out a business loan or gain some kind of venture capital as well. We are speeding things along in this area, and any kind of processes that have been maybe mucked up in the late December, early January time with the retrograde are going to be ironed out and smoothed over, so don't worry if you are dealing with something right now at the end of December, at the very beginning of January. The last 2 weeks of the month are going to basically correct, and again, reconsider and reconcile on whatever that issue is. Going back to the beginning of the month, though, we also have Venus, the planet of love and harmony and good fortune, going into Pisces, into your 10th house of career. And this is a wonderful opportunity for those of you that are looking to maybe find a job in a more secure or maybe even a more prestigious employment opportunity, or a more prestigious company, or something that's a bit more high-end for those of you that feel like it's time to move on from entry-level or mid-level when it comes to the industry that you're working in. Venus also brings a great opportunity to gain favor at the office, or gain favor from future employers. For those of you who have been thinking about how do I get somebody's attention, hold somebody's attention, or maybe even get favors, things coming to me easy, this is the angle you want to have. Where Mars in this area for the last good while is still in Pisces in the beginning of the month, Mars always brings us opportunities through labor, hard work, putting in those extra overtime hours. Venus kind of gives us gifts, it gives us incentives, things, again, it's almost like handout treatment. Don't be surprised if you do get a little bit of resentment from your peers and your colleagues this month if you are being treated like the office favorite. However, this is a good time for you to put that to constructive use as well. Don't just sit back and receive, put it to work. The nice thing is, though, with Venus in this area, you are going to be noticing that other areas of your life are benefiting, such as, if you work in sales, if you work on commissions, if you work on incentives, that too is also going to get bolstered. And that's going to be there all month. On the 12th, we've got a full moon occurring in Cancer, in your earned income sector, your second house. And remember what I said, where a lot of Gemini people might find an opportunity for transition? Well, this full moon does open up an opportunity for some of you Geminis who've been thinking about moving on from your current place of employment. You may do so sometime within the last 2 weeks of January. And remember, Mercury will be done being retrograde by then, and I don't necessarily spend too much time thinking about shadow periods myself. I always tend to think, that's a relatively new thought, considering this is a few millennia old. I'm going to let science play itself out here and just let that be. I'm not going to jump all over that yet. And with the, with the full moon in Cancer, usually we tend to see, again, an opportunity to put in our notice to end a business relationship in general. So even if you are not thinking about quitting your job, think about a business relationship you may have elsewhere. You may be thinking about ending a business relationship with your landlord, ending a business relationship with your roommate, ending a business relationship with a family member. If we need to start cutting things off a little bit, or close an expense that we no longer wish to carry, this is the great time to do that at the last couple of weeks of this month. And then the last couple of weeks of this month carry a completely different shift in tone for a lot of you Gemini people. The first couple of weeks of the month are great. It's what everyone wants to talk about. Relationships, money, relationships, money. And then the last couple of weeks of the month, we're talking a little bit differently. The sun is moving into Aquarius, into your 9th house. This is the area that talks about worldliness. This talks about travel. This talks about multicultural exposure, the opportunity to connect with cultures, or even scholarship, academia that we haven't thought about before. And from the last couple of weeks of this month going into the beginnings of February, a lot of you are going to see travel opportunities arise. Those of you who've been thinking about maybe even studying a new language, or maybe even studying a new spiritual path, getting into yoga, this is a great time. You're going to start seeing a higher, I guess you could say a higher yield from the work that you put in there. This is also a wonderful opportunity for those of you that are thinking about working abroad. If you are, this new moon that's coming up on the 27th in Aquarius says that if you're looking for either international clients, international work, or international move opportunities, this is the time to get things shuffling. I also like this as a great boon for those of you who are thinking about going back to school, or to college, or to university. Those of you who are test takers, those of you who are trying to apply for certain academic programs, I would definitely make sure that we have those interviews at the end of this month. You will notice a lot more people are going to be jazzed on you. Finally, we have Mars, planet of action and energy and conviction, moving into Aries, into your 11th house of friendships and social networking, where he will stay pretty much from the last few days of this month all the way through February. And with Mars in Aries, you can expect to be, building tighter relationships with your, with your friends in the sense that we are kind of building this strong brotherhood or sisterhood around us, and that's where the theme is going. Have we been maybe feeling a bit adrift from our, from our friends? Do we have a strong platonic support system? Or is everyone just kind of in it for themselves? Well, Mars in the 11th house, we're talking about warrior's honor. We're talking about, brothers and sisters in arms kind of stuff here. We don't do shallow relationships. We don't do superficial fair weather friendships with Mars in the 11th house. And this is going to bring you an opportunity to get those friends that are true blue. And if you've had friends that are true blue, but maybe, in life we kind of lose time, Mars is going to be making the time. For those of you that are looking for any kind of opportunity to maybe even join a competitive team, whether it's a sports team or maybe it's a work situation, anything where you need to compete to get in, audition to get in, Mars is going to give you an advantage here as well. So I hope you have found this helpful, Gemini. That is your January. It looks pretty dang good. And if you'd like, please like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to sign up for any of the classes coming up, or just simply get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.